how to handle a multiple offer situation. We see this all the time where selling agents have a bad reputation sometimes for a reason because people have no clue what to actually offer on a property. So in this video, I'm going to break down for you exactly what we do as buyer's agents to have an advantage, to understand the market, and to essentially be more successful in buying property deals. Now, my name's Luke and I talk all things real estate, renovating, and financial freedom on this channel. If you could head over to purposeproperty.com.au to check out our fees and buying process if you are interested in a Brisbane-based buyer's agent to buy a property in the next 3 to 6 months. Now let's talk about negotiating with selling agents. They can be tough. They can pressure you. They can push you into making offers that you don't want to make, and potentially you can still miss out on the deal that you really wanted. So what are some tips and strategies to work with the selling agents? And that's an important phrase there, to work with the selling agents to try and be successful in buying property. Now, I've been running a Brisbane buyer's agency coming up to 5 years at this point. And before that, I negotiated directly with these agents, and you're always negotiating, right? With brokers and banks, with your work for a pay rise, with customers to keep them happy. Life is a negotiation at the end of the day. And so let's break down the process of what we do as buyer's agents, and it'll give you a view of how you can apply this in your own journey if you're going to do this yourself to be more successful in purchasing your next property. Now, the first thing is being clear about what you want. Because a lot of people, and this might surprise you or might not surprise you, I know with my wife, when I used to ask her what she wanted for dinner, it was a guessing game. What do you want for dinner? Do you want GYG? Do you want grilled? Do you want McDonald's? Do we get Hungry Jack's? Do we get something else off Uber Eats? There's lots of options out there. So we need to get clear when it comes to our property decisions about what we want. And so that's what we do with our clients. When you sign up as a client, the first thing we do is called a buying brief. All that is going through 5 key things. That's price, strategy, suburbs, property-specific criteria, and things to avoid. Now, let's take an example client. They want to buy an investment property in Southeast Queensland. The first thing we start with is price. The reason we start with price is that is the limiting factor. So you've got $1 million budget. Awesome. Price is up to $1 million. But that doesn't mean if you're buying an investment, you need to spend $1 million. You might want to spend $800K or $900K. And so you might look at a range between, say, $750,000 and $1 million. Then we've got strategy. So what is your strategy with purchasing this property? Is it an investment? Is it your own home? Is it a development site? Does it need granny flat potential? Are you focused on growth or cash flow? Most of our clients, and myself included, are always going to be focusing on growth first, cash flow second. And so price is up to $1 million. Strategy is growth focused, maybe an acceptable cash flow second. Then we're going through suburbs. So there's going to be lots of locations that you can't buy, even though the selling agent put on realestate.com that this house was offers over $800,000 and it sold for $1.01 million. Wait a minute. These agents are underlisting property prices. This happens everywhere. It's not just Queensland. It's even Victoria or New South Wales. Everywhere across Australia, selling agents are incentivized to get boots through the door. They're selling agents. They want more people to come to the open homes. And so when you're looking at realestate.com or Domain, or you're having a chat with the agent about a pre-market or an off-market deal, they might give you a price guide, but that price guide might be far away from the reality of that market price. And so that's why you need to understand the suburbs. What areas can you actually, in this current market, afford with that price range of $700,000 to $1 million? Now, if you were a client signing up to Purpose Property today and you came to me with that budget, we'd be looking in Moreton Bay, Logan, or Ipswich. And I would say if you're a client, you realistically can't buy in Brisbane. You need $1 million plus. And same with Redland Bay. You're probably squeezing to buy just sub $1 million at this point. It's still possible, but you're squeezing in terms of the price point. And so that gives you clarity around the suburbs. Then we go to property specific criteria. So bedrooms, bathrooms, land size. And then we go through things to avoid. So you want to avoid being on a main road, a thoroughfare, having structural issues with the home. You don't want high tension power lines over your head when you go to sleep at night. Even if the house feels like your castle, don't buy with high tension power lines or airports right out your back door. And so the reason you have to go through that buying brief is so when you are confronted by selling agents and they're pushing you, you know exactly what you're looking for. And so That's what we do with our clients. They go through that buying brief. I'm actually going to be doing one this afternoon with some repeat clients who bought with us 12 months ago or 9 months ago. And so with their next purchase, they get a $1,000 discount with us, and we take them through that journey again for this very next property purchase. And so as we move through this journey, we're then now shortlisting the right opportunities. Now, because our buyer's agency has myself and 7 staff, we're able to do a lot more in terms of the research and the volume of properties to look at than an everyday Australian. You're probably going to work, 40 hours a week. You're cooking dinner, you're going to the gym, you're trying to look after yourself, and now you're trying to invest in property on top of that. That's why people pay for a buyer's agent to deal with these hassles, to do the legwork, to be the boots on the ground, and to negotiate with these selling agents. So you need to shortlist your deals. Ideally, you're not looking at 50 suburbs. You narrow that down to 5 to 10 suburbs at max. And then from there, you're shortlisting opportunities and contacting the agents regularly to get a view of the prices and where these properties might land. There was a deal we just did last weekend, which we bought for $800,000, and I have a great working relationship with the selling agent, Jake. Jake and I have done several deals together. He's been building his sales business and I've been building my buyer's agency. And so there's mutual trust there between two professionals. And that's another advantage I have as a buyer's agent over an everyday buyer, is that we have a brand reputation. If you jump onto Google reviews, hopefully in the next month or two, we'll have cracked 100 Google reviews, which is a massive milestone for the business. Coming up to 5 years next year, in the middle of next year, we'll have been officially running this business 5 years. And so you, as a buyer, you need to show the selling agent that if you're not using a buyer's agent, that you are realistic and you are vetted in terms of your finances. And so it is worth sharing that information that, hey, I've got a borrowing capacity of $1 million and I'm fully pre-approved. That's not going to generally be a detriment to your situation. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule. There may be some exceptions to that where a selling agent will try and use that against you to increase the price. But this is where the research comes in. You're going to do comparable market analysis. We do this for our clients. We do a snapshot of where we see value. We do detailed research then around flood reports, overlays, any infrastructure coming through, recent sale prices. We get all of that information in a big pack and we send that to our clients to say, this is where we see value at this point in time. And then on top of that, we're physically inspecting. We're getting further feedback from the selling agents, and then we're making our offers from that point. And it doesn't matter, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter at all what a selling agent tells me the price is. They could say it's offers over $799 and I know the house is going to sell roughly for $1 million. Or they could say, it's offers over 1.1 and really the house is still worth $1 million. And so it should really matter very little about where the selling agent prices the property, because it's about where you see value. And that's one of the biggest things I can do for clients in the buyer's agency at Purpose Property, is help people see value for their specific circumstances. I bought 2 properties this year in Ipswich and I paid, mid 600s, $625,000 and $638,000 for each of those properties. And they did need a fair amount of renovation work, and we're working through that at this point in time. And I've signed my build contracts, which I'm very excited about, to construct 2 homes off the back of each of those sites. But those properties wouldn't be the right deals for all of our clients, because some clients are at the start of their journey and some clients have a much bigger budget and don't have any assets in their portfolio yet. And so those assets wouldn't necessarily be the right property for them at that point in time. And so let's now talk about the agents specifically and in that negotiation process. There's lots of different methods of sale. There's private treaties, blind auctions essentially. There's essentially visible auctions, but they're not an auction. There's auctions. There's lots of different methods of sale at this point in time. And the most common ones are private treaty, where you don't get to see the pricing of competitors, and a full public auction where you get to see all your competition, but you must buy that property at that price with no conditions if you buy it in that environment. Now, the bulk of what we buy is under private treaty. And the big thing with agents is about getting as much information as possible out of the agent. Now, the way we do that is build relationship with the agents. And so treat them like everyday people. There are some agents that are not nice to deal with. There's always people in any industry, in any job, that you're not going to enjoy having a conversation with, but don't let that be the reason you don't buy that property. I didn't like, Steve, that agent. Well, it doesn't matter. Steve's just part of this transaction. You're buying the right property for you. So if that property is the right one, make an offer and work with the agent to get a deal done if you can get a deal done. And so my strategy and what we do as a professional buyers agency is we build a relationship with the agents. We try and be very quick with making our offers. And we also do a lot of research to be educated in making those offers. Now, because we're doing such volume in the buyers agency, we have access to a lot more on-the-ground pricing. So, for example, you might see a sold listing on realestate.com, and that's pricing from 4 or 5 or 6 weeks ago. Whereas buyers agents, we might look at 30 deals in a given week, and we might know 20 of those sales and what they roughly sold for, or what they exactly sold for, depending on the circumstance. And so that gives us much more accurate on-the-ground data, which is not publicly available. It's not on RP data. It's not on realestate.com. It's not on Domain. It's only available by making active offers in the market and doing the amount of volume that we are, working with somewhere between 5 to 15 clients at a time. And so you can do this, but it's going to be a lot of legwork for you, is that every property that you're interested in, try and work out where they sell for if you miss out on that deal. That's going to give you much more active feedback as to where property prices are in today's market. Then work with the agent. So, they could be lying to you, but that would be illegal. But they could tell you, prices are now sitting at offers over 900,000, even though we originally guided this house at the 800,000s. Instead of getting angry at the agent that the price is too expensive and you think that's not worth the money, there's no way I'm paying 900,000 for that deal. That's okay. Walk away from the deal if it is too expensive. Or if it is the right price and that was helpful feedback, thank the agent regardless, and then increase your offer to that sticking point of where you see your best and final. And so a lot of people will offer 95% of their best and final in these scenarios because, I'll offer 901. And I say to clients, look, you're not going to get the deal. Like, it's about finding out where you think that property is going to sell for. We got a deal last weekend by $1,000, and you'd be amazed. Even this home I sit in right now, I got by $1,000. There was about 10, 12 offers on this property. We offered $681,000 when it was a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, smokers ridden house. You can go back and watch the full renovation series called the Triple Gable Queenslander series. There was holes. The bathroom floor didn't even have a floor. But we got this property by $1,000 because we offered $681, not $680. There was a deal we just did on the weekend where we got for $821, and the second top offer was $820. And so use those tactics. Work with the agent, take on the feedback, thank them for their time, treat them like a human being, and be kind and friendly with them. And then make a serious offer where you see that sticking point. All of those steps are going to enable you to be more likely to be more successful on deals. Now, the reality is you're going to get rejected. You're going to feel rejected. You're going to miss out on more deals than you buy, because you only buy one deal at a time, but you might offer on 10 or 15 houses over a space of 2 months. The average time for our clients is about 6 weeks. So if you sign up today in the business at Purpose Property, then the average client will buy around the 6-week mark. John, one of our clients, bought in his first week. There was about 12 offers on the deal. He paid around $780,000, and there was another bid at $780K. He paid $780,001. And the reason we got that deal across the line is because he had a strong price, but he also had strong terms, and we had a great working relationship with the selling agent. That selling agent was one of the agents I bought my very first properties in this business, Purpose Property, about 4.5 years ago from. And so we've built relationships with agents over years, and that does give us an advantage over time in the market. But in John's example, he got that deal because he was sharp on price, he was sharp on terms, and we built a relationship with the agent. So all those things are critical to being successful in the negotiations. I hope this information has been very insightful and useful for you if you are actively looking to buy a property in the market sometime soon. And if you want to buy a property in Southeast Queensland, head over to purposeproperty.com.au. You can see our pricing and our process, and you can book in a free 20-minute chat with myself to talk about your very next property purchase here in Southeast Queensland. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.